It should be easy to get a quote, but it should not be easy to cancel a policy. We don't even understand how much we don't want it to be about price, but how much we make it about price every single day in an agency.
The concept of being open and honest and telling your client what the consequence of an action is versus I want to be a people pleaser and just make it so easy and make them still love me.
All right, we are back. It's the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent Podcast. We're the insurance industry's best friend, and we're talking about processes and procedures this month. I know, a super sexy topic, yet it's interesting. It's one of the top searched items on our website is processes and procedures. So this is exciting. But we're going to talk today about the best practices of handling somebody who wants to call in and cancel. You know, some of the things we're going to talk about today, I think, are going to be very basic, simple, eye-opening, like, oh, I should change that in my agency. If you have a written process, it's easier to change, right? So I'm joined here today by Therese Potter and Stephen Harrington. And, you know, the best part is that we're going to kick this off with, I said Bobby. Bobby's not here today. With Therese. Bobby's driving with Therese, who's going to talk a little bit about how we approach what are we looking at with an insurance policy cancellation. And I'll say this up front for today's podcast. I can't say this enough. We're talking about like really focusing on the people we want to stay, not cancel. Okay. There's some clients in every book where when they leave, we're like, sweet. I get that. Those are not the people we're talking about today. So as you're talking about that, because this is what happens. When I'm in an agency, we talk about cancellations. Inevitably, I say that up front. If somebody didn't listen, they're like, but there's some customers we don't want to come back. And I say, yes, which we addressed up front. We're talking about the ones you do want. Okay. And in some agencies' mind, it's very skewed that they think anybody who leaves are the bad ones, and it's just not true. So I'm going to turn it over to Therese to talk a little bit more about this.
So I think we all as agents struggle with cancellations because we're scared of them. We don't want them to happen. In some cases, we do want them to happen if our mindsets are right and we're tiering our clients correctly. But there's many situations where cancellations happen, whether it be due to non-pay or changes in risk or the customer changing agents, which is the worst one. We don't like that one because we don't like to lose our customers to the competition when they're good customers. If we're building relationships with our clients, usually our clients will call us first. So it's really important that we have that relationship built with our clients. So if they have a reason for canceling, they call us first. Cancellations, they suck. We know they're just awful. It's difficult for our agency because our agency is actually losing money. The customer could be losing great coverages. Like we may have this awesome policy and they talk to another agent and the agent's like, oh yeah, I can get you that policy for $500 cheaper. And you're like, yeah, no way. You know, send me a copy of that policy because there is no way that you have the same coverages and it's $500 cheaper. So we have to be careful of basically letting them cancel too easy. It should be easy to get a quote, but it should not be easy to cancel a policy. I worked in an agency to get a quote. Yes, easier. Yes, way easier. And you don't want to make it super difficult for a customer, but when a customer calls in and the receptionist answers and they say, hey, I want to cancel my policy, and the receptionist says, oh, let me just send you a DocuSign document for you to sign. With no questions asked. Oh my gosh. I've heard that a couple times and I would be in the back office just going, oh my goodness, what have we done? So we have to make sure that we have effective communication when we're talking with our customers. Basically, oh my gosh, you want to cancel your policy? I am so sorry to hear that. You know, what's the reason? Oh, well, the price is too high. So if it's other than, if you had to choose something other than price, what would be the reason for you leaving? And they'll be like, what? But you have to talk them into talking to you on the reasons. It could be that another agency and another agent just reached out to them and just quoted their policy randomly. It could be they saw a commercial. It could be that their brother purchased an insurance agency and now is an insurance agent. So it could be relationships. So you have to basically discover the reason for them canceling. Just a tip, if somebody calls in to get a deck page, that should throw up some red flags that if they're getting a deck page, it's probably because they're shopping. So make sure if somebody calls for a deck page that you ask a bunch of questions, because that's being super proactive, because it probably means they haven't canceled yet. If they're calling in to cancel, then normally they've already canceled their or they've already started and already went somewhere else and got a quote and they're ready, or they have started that policy already. So we have to have that long conversation where we're asking the correct questions. We can't just say, oh, great, I'll just send you a document to sign. That's not how it works.
Not
No, and there are going to be difficult conversations. There's a role play out there with Kelly and Trevor where she does a really
back in the day.
Yes, but she does a great job of asking the questions and keeping the conversation positive, and that's what we need to do. We need to say, hey, oh my gosh, it's unfortunate that you want to do that, but let's talk through it and see if we can still save them. And if they have gone with another agency and paid already, you still can get them back. You just need to wow them, like, majorly. So work on having those conversations and building those relationships, even if it's time for cancel, because if you build a relationship now and they leave and they have a horrible experience, guess what? You can call them in 6 months.
We sure can. We sure can. And
I think it's also important to remember, especially if they're calling to cancel, it means that there's still hope. Like, they're not going to call you to cancel if they didn't really want you to say, no, don't go. So I think that's something important to remember as well, because for a lot of people, it's hard for them to pick up the phone, just like it's hard for a lot of our team to want to pick up the phone for a difficult situation. So if they're calling, it's because they're like, well, maybe in the back of their head, they're like, maybe they're going to try to still win me back because I didn't hate them, but I didn't remember I liked them a whole lot.
Well, I also want to state this. I think there's this preconceived notion in people's heads. I face this all the time, and it happens a little bit more on the service time, like the service team. They've already paid the other policy. Correct. Well, we could BOR it, we could AOR it, they could still cancel it and get a refund. Like, why are we have such a limited belief that it's almost to me like insulting and discriminatory, right? That we think all of our clients couldn't float a couple $100. Like, if that's the mindset, they've already paid for it. But that's great. And for some people, that is true, but we don't know what's in their bank account. Why are we judging and placing that on people? That doesn't make any sense, right? The other half of the thing with cancellations, I would say, is when somebody calls in to cancel, who does it go to? Like DeVries was saying, I don't think it should be the receptionist. I could even argue it probably shouldn't be the service person, because maybe they're canceling because they have an issue with that person. So it should go to the person who has the highest likelihood to save that account. And what we said in a hard market, if the new business market is particularly hard right now, right? Why not have some of your sales team take cancellation saves and pay them a 1-year commission just to help them get by, right? Like, let's go ahead and get somebody on there that wants to save it and is motivated to save it, because every time I let someone go, it's very hard to win them back. And so I really encourage us all to think about who should get that. And then whoever does get cancellations, have we trained them to keep the person talking? Have we trained them to find out why? And again, I'm not talking about somebody who's moving out of state. Great. Awesome. Can't do anything about that. I'm talking about the people who are like, yeah, I found a better rate down the road with State Farm. Oh, you saved money? I understand. Money is so tight right now. What did you save? Well, that's a good deal. Yeah, well, we're here if you ever need us. Like, we don't even understand how much we don't want it to be about price, but how much we make it about price every single day in an agency.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ridiculous, I think, sometimes. Which leads me to the best practices. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but like, who does it go to? Find the best person to save it. Pay them to save it.
And in some agencies, we're even taking the best person at retention and making them a retention specialist. Like, the person that's best on the calls or best at the client, or can have empathy, but still talk to them about all the pitfalls and changes or why they should stay. And we're finding that the agencies that are getting that specialized person, even if they are on a tight staff, it's alleviating the pressure from some of the rest of the team, because they're like, I will take 17 more service calls if I don't have to deal with
one upset person.
Yeah, one upset person. The other person's like, I'll handle it. I'll talk to them. I'll figure out what's wrong. I'll see what the options are. And it's not that they're an amazing personality. They're just like, I don't mind and I'm good at it. So I think also just looking at your staff and finding who that person is and if they could really excel in that role, then we might need to look at a special person as well if our staff can accommodate.
Well, and I also think that we need to provide our team scripts and the dreaded role playing, because it's hard when someone comes at you, or that like the hardest ones to save, I think, are the really nice ones. Like, no, it's just money. It's just about money. It's so hard.
I love you so much, but my husband told me that we're gonna do this, and I had to call you because I liked you.
Yes. And so you want to be like, oh, I understand. And then some people get some pushback. Like, I have a thing, and this happened the other day on an agency I've got some training with. And I said, well, what if we asked, it's our agency's standard to get a copy of your policy, the new policy. And they were like, that's pushy. And then when somebody goes, we don't need it though to cancel, I go, the carrier doesn't need it, but effective today, the agency is requesting it so we can honor our values and do the best job for the person. And they're like, but what if that leads to bad taste in their mouth? I wouldn't send it. And I go, you all are thinking about insurance. If I was my mother and that's just what you asked me to do, I would just do it. Right? Like, the outside world doesn't know that you don't need a copy of the policy to cancel it, of their new insurance. They don't know that.
They probably have it via email anyway.
Right.
Forward me the email.
And then they're like, well, what do they do if they don't want to send it? Then you say, okay, I'm going to document in your file that you're not willing to send it to make sure that the coverages match and that the dates match up. And I'm going to go on what you say versus confirming you might be uninsured. And then it's like, you tell them the risk. I want to make sure that you have the same coverage and everything's protected, and that, we have the dates matched so you have no gaps in insurance. Because if you got pulled over, your mortgage company found out, you'd be in trouble.
I can't tell you how many times there were gaps in coverage and people would come wanting a letter for the DMV, and you're like, but you had a lapse. Well, I didn't know that. Well, you canceled the policy on this date, and this policy canceled on this date.
But what I think is just hilarious too, and I guess it's not hilarious. I giggle internally because I deal with a lot of agents and agencies, but the concept of being open and honest and telling your client what the consequence of an action is versus I want to be a people pleaser and just make it so easy and make them still love me. And so a lot of the trainings we do now, especially with the change of the market, everything is like, can you be open and honest with your client and tell them what the consequence of this action is? Like, you don't want to send me the deck page. Here's some of the possible consequences. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm also not going to be responsible when you're mad if it does. So it's not being nasty or aggressive. It's like, hey, as a friend, I'm just telling you what some of the possible outcomes could be. And I think that's really important to, again, be just open and honest with our clients with some of our experiences are. It doesn't mean it's going to happen to them, but we can foreshadow that it's a possibility.
Absolutely. But, if you think about it, when someone wants to leave, it's a huge hit to the agency and there's opportunity. So why wouldn't we try to be a little bit more above, like structured? That's a better way than saying pushy, right? Mm-hmm. And say, in order to protect you, if they really don't want to, just let it go. It's not a big deal. But say you got half of them in, then you can find all the coverage gaps and people can make a better educated decision. And by the way, what harm is it in asking? They're breaking up with you. Like, they're gone. They said that they don't want to do business with you anymore. So if they just go ahead and do this, it's not that big of an ordeal, right?
Right.
Am I crazy? Am I right?
No, you're not crazy.
This is the time to leave it all on the table. That's how I feel about it. So, Stephen, how can we make sure that, obviously, somebody leaves, we want to recycle that lead, we want to code it correctly, because there are people who leave that we're psyched about. We don't necessarily make a big deal about it, but how can we use our systems to make sure we get that lead back in the pipeline? Because agencies need to spend zero money on leads if they're working a database.
Absolutely. So I think what we need to do is see, was it a good risk to begin with? And if it was, and it's something that we weren't able to save, try to find out where they went or why they left so that we can at least put some notes in the system. But it's important that we set a suspense or follow-up task, whatever we want to call it, for 60 to 90 days before their next renewal, just to reach back out and say, hey, we loved having you as a client. There's been some changes in the market. Let's take a look and see if we can work together again. And just keep that conversation open. I love the agencies that put clients into campaigns when they leave, like automated campaigns. But I think that we're missing my favorite part, which is and I'm old, so I use my fingers still for phone call. I guess now you're supposed to be like this or something. Like this is now answering the phone, not this, because it's a cell phone. We learned something new today.
Not even a cell phone. It just goes in my ear pod. It's just
Yeah, earpods like hello, hello. But again, I think that we need to pick up the phone because we need to break through the noise. So I think what we need to really do is set a suspense or task in our management system for a follow-up 60 to 90 days prior to the next renewal. Just reach out and say, hey, what's happening? How's it going? Are you happy where you're at? Was it everything you thought it was going to be? We're still open. We still want to talk with you. Or if there's been changes in the market. I think to do that, though, we need to make sure it was a good lead to begin with or a good client and that we know why they left. If we don't know why they left, we're still going to call, but it's easier if we know why they left or where they went. The other thing I love is when when an agency puts the canceled policies into their campaigns through an automated system where the client's still getting touch points throughout the year. But I think the biggest spot we miss is picking up the phone to call the client for the I love you. Like, hey, it's been a hot minute. Let's talk. Are you still happy? Has your other agent reached out to you? Remember, this is what we offered in the past. Yes, sorry, this versus this. Teresa's making fun of me because I'm old. I still do phone like this, like answering the phone, not answering the phone, or answering the phone. So again, I think it's important we pick up the phone. Even if we leave a voicemail, we might break through the noise. And in my experience, it's normally in the second to third year that we win them back or at least get the opportunity to talk to them again, unless they have had a poor experience with the new agent. But I think clients are also embarrassed sometimes to come back because they left and the grass wasn't greener. And so if we aren't telling them from the beginning, like, hey, you're welcome to come back. Give me a call anytime. I still want to talk to you. Let's be friends and leave that door open. I think that it makes it a little more difficult in the end.
And it's great to have notes in the system as well of the client, about the client, if you know why they left, if you know something about their lives, because when you do call them back, you can say, hey, how's so-and-so? Or, are you doing well? And you can give details that you remember that you put in the notes to make them realize that you do remember them and that you do value them and their lifestyle and basically insuring them.
I think that that's perfect. So, the biggest thing that we want to think about too is as we stop a cancellation, if you guys need a process and scripts and everything else, guess what we got? We have a cancellation process pack that will help you. I think one of the biggest things that I struggle with in agencies is not struggle, but I should say that we help them with through our processes is even tracking why people are leaving. If a builder's risk is complete, okay, we should be able to track that and see we got the new building, right? If it's a bond, okay. If they're selling something, okay. But price with a remarket, price without a remarket, price with a renewal call, like we need to start getting granular on it because what you will find, like in some agencies we walk into, the biggest thing is non-pay. Well, we need to change that. That's costing your agency and draining resources. Or if it's always price is not enough in my opinion. We can code everything price. The rates are going up. You could just have price all over the place. It's price, did they have a renewal call? Price, did they have a remarket? Price, what was the scenario? Where did they go? Can we recycle them? And I feel like if our agencies really operate, we need to make sure that that's something that's super, super important. So we do have a process pack, $200 get you a cancellation process. That's huge. Or you can get our whole 10 processes with claims, new business, renewals, endorsements, everything for $1,000. So guys, if you're struggling with processes, you want your team to do everything we talk about in our videos and our blogs and our podcast. Like, oh, so I wish my team did this. This is your key. This is your starting point for clarity. So check that all out. But we are going to let everybody get back to normally scheduled programming. We appreciate Teresa and Stephen being on here today. Remember, we're the insurance industry's best friend. So anything that you need, just call us and we'll be here to help you. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.